All right. See if looks like everything is still on. See if you can hear me. That is wonderful. Okay. Let's look at what we want to make our background to be. Get another brush here. I was using a round in order to do that drawing, and now I want to get a filbert. But this is looking kind of poorly. Look at that. Yeah, I think I need to get a few new brushes. I haven't gotten around to it. I need to. But it seems like there's something else always going on, and I don't think about it. Okay, I'm going to start off with some really neutral colors and then add in this dark cadmium or cadmium deep, cadmium yellow deep. We're going to add in some of the burnt sienna to neutralize it. So we've got a nice neutral green here is what I'm hoping for. I want oh yes, that's lovely. I want a greenish color. I'm going to turn this microphone on, and y'all are going to be participate in my little study. And we're going to see which area works the best for picking up on the sound. I don't know if you've ever heard of ASMR. That looks more brown than green, doesn't it? If you've ever heard of ASMR, but one of the things that I have looked or considered doing or was thinking about with this dual set of microphones here is doing a setup where I wasn't talking, I was just painting, and we were capturing some of the sounds of the paintbrush. And I'm going to move this around in a few places. I'm just trying to see which one might be best. So I have it above the painting now. There's a little ledge above the painting, so I've got it right there. I'm just putting a neutral green down. This is a very, really like an olive drab green, kind of. The Army recently had a birthday, and they had a parade in Washington. I'm going to move it over here to the left now. Let's see if that is doing anything different. And one of the things that struck me as you're going through and looking at the uniforms of, because they did like the whole, all the uniforms of the Army across the years, starting with the Revolutionary War, which I did not know this, but the Army was formed 1 year before our country was formed. So the Army is actually older than our nation. And so we recently celebrated the 250-year birthday of the Army this year. And next year will be the 250-year anniversary of our nation. But anyways, back to their uniforms. It really struck me as to how that drab, well, you can call it drab, but olive green color was pervasive in some form or fashion through most of the uniforms. Of course, it wasn't in the Union, which was blue. It wasn't there, but in so many of the Army's uniforms, this olive green color was a part of it. And so, it's one thing you could say is the color of the Army is this olive green. That's, I think, would be a fair statement. If you have a different opinion, I'd love to hear it. If you think that the Army has a different color. Is a different color? I would love to hear that. But yeah, it was really neat seeing all these men and women, mostly men, but men and women walking by, marching in their all these different uniforms of all these different time periods and all these different wars. It was neat. And I used to play the trombone. So one of the things I loved was seeing all these bands. And, you know, I thought that, oh, well, they've just got one Army band, right? No, they don't. They have multiple Army bands, and I do not have enough white in here. So we're going to pull some white out and make sure we get a lot of white in here because we've got white on the tabletop. And we want to get that light enough. It really needs to be light enough just to convince that there is light on this cloth of this tabletop. We need enough light to convince us of that. And that's got to be a good bit more than what we have right here. So just adding straight white, mixing into this mess. It's not a mess. Into my mixture of colors here, we've got just a lot of color and then a little bit of white in here. Okay. So I'm going to move this over here. See if maybe if behind it it'll do anything different, and then I'll shut it off. Okay. Okay. So we've got sort of, kind of, I didn't mean to make that so sharp. This is supposed to be soft because we have the soft edged flowers. Okay, so we can either go with the teacup. Yeah, let's go with the teacup next. Let's do that next. Painting the shadow in white is can be challenging. And there is I have a couple of different quote-unquote recipes. One of them is Naples yellow and black with white. That is one of them. That's the one that I'm going to go with this time. And that's for a couple of reasons. One is that I want it to be in line with the background, more or less. A little bit different from the background, but still very neutral color. So I'm wanting it to be very neutral. And I'm not wanting it to stand out too much from the background. It is lighter than the darks of the background. It is lighter than that, but I don't. So I want it to be lighter. I want it to be similar, but not too similar. I don't know if that makes any sense. Okay, so now the light part of the teacup, we can take a lot of white over here. We can change brushes. Go to our smaller one. Okay, now I'm going to turn this microphone off. Okay, I think we've done enough testing with that. Turn that one off. And what I'm mixing up here is a little bit of my shadow color with white, forming the light color of the teacup. And you want it to be darker than what you think it should be. And the reason for that is that you want room to be able to come in here and to put in the highlight or the light. So you want some quote unquote room to go do that. And in order to have that room, this this light has to be darker than what you think it is going to be. So now I'm taking this light and trying to smush it into the shadow side. And so here, starting edge needs to be lighter. I'm going to put thicker paint here. Back here, we've got some bits and pieces of some light peeking through, the light peeking through right there. But down here, the light is, we've got a little bit of a shadow because the light is curving away. It really helps if you hold your mouth right as you're painting this part. Did you ever hear that? Did your parent ever tell you, hey, you need to hold your mouth right in order to open that jar or to do something? Sometimes I have to hold my mouth right just to make these brush strokes do what I want. So feel free to hold your mouth right if you need to. You've got that freedom. Just trying to clean it up here. Okay. The main star here is going to be the roses. So I don't want to do anything more on this teacup. And you're probably looking at it going, it's not a teacup. Yeah, I don't disagree with you. It's, you really can't tell what it is. But I want to stop right here and I want to move on to the roses because I need to get those in and get some detail in them, and then I'll know how much detail to put on this cup. So let's skip ahead. And what I'm going to use, and I as I was putting out my paint, I realized I could have put out transparent oxide red, which goes here where I normally have it. I could have put that out, but I decided I wanted to keep my roses simpler. So I'm going with my Tuscan red and black, and I'm making that as my shadow color. And we could even put in a little bit of blue. And this is going to be my rose shadow color. So let's start in on the roses. And we've got this nice little, oh, that's going to be a lovely color. Oh yeah, I'm going to be able to work with that. That's going to be lovely. And I'm using a brush that I'm like, oh, I feel like this brush is almost too big for it, on purpose. And you might say, why are you using a brush that you think is too big for this area? Well, whenever you do that, it forces you to loosen up. And when you loosen up, it really forces you to. You can't help but to loosen up. And when you loosen up, beautiful things just seem to happen. And I want to see what those beautiful things are. The other thing that I'm doing, and you can't see it, is I am, what's the word? What am I doing? What is that word? Part of it is that I'm painting and access to my uh, my words is limited while I'm painting. Normally I can talk a whole lot better than this, but especially when I'm trying to think of a specific word. What am I doing here? It's a good question. What am I doing here? Um, I'm staying open. I'm staying curious. I'm staying, yes, I'm staying open and I'm staying curious. And I'm curious as to where is this going to take me? Where is this going to lead me? Uh, where am I going after this? What is this painting going to turn into? So I do have kind of a view about what I want it to be, but I'm also on a journey with this painting, and I'm on a journey with it. We're doing it together, and I feel like that we're going to um, journey on this and kind of see where this is going. So I hope that you look at your paintings kind of like that. Of this is a journey, and be curious about where the painting is going to take you. You'll have a whole lot more fun. Hi, thanks for watching this content on YouTube. I'm Corey Dyson, and this YouTube video was sponsored by my Patreon page, where I have much more content that is available there to help you to learn art as efficiently and as effectively as possible. So I look forward to seeing you over there. Link is down below.